Springtime is here, the flowers are blooming, but it makes your eyes watery and people are sneezing back and forth. So we are here to talk about hay fever and how you can prevent it or how you can help the itchiness and your sneezing symptoms and what we can do for it. I'm Dr. Carrie Lam and this is Dr. Michael Lam. We also go through the hay fever here, and so what are exactly are like hay fever symptoms and why does it happen?
Well, hay fever is just a response that the body goes through when it doesn't like and it reacts to external stimuli by activating the histamine response. The histamine response is a way that the body kind of floods the system, the cells, and it's a swelling response, and that's why it just feels so uncomfortable when you have this, and that's why most people take over-the-counter things, drugs like Claritin, etc., or Benadryl to help to reduce the histamine load, and that is the key, to reduce the histamine load. And histamine can come from pollen triggering, it comes from food that is high in histamine triggering capability as well.
So what you're saying is, like, let's say a little pollen gets on your nose and then your body basically, it gets inflamed, your nose is like, what is this foreign thing? And then it sends out the histamine, and that's what causes the itchy eyes, the sneezing, and those types of symptoms, right? So what are some ways we can actually avoid, because we don't want to have that much histamine load, so we have to avoid doing that? Well,
first of all, your body has an intrinsic built-in mechanism by way of secreting a hormone called cortisol. This is an anti-inflammatory hormone, and it's done through the adrenal system. So the body automatically takes care of it. So it's not like everybody walks around with allergic response or histaminic response. If your adrenal is strong, you're able to handle it and you don't even have to think about it. The problem comes is when your body is not able to produce sufficient cortisol and the anti-inflammatory response therefore is weak, then the histamine becomes kind of overwhelming. And so if you are in that category, then you have to be careful. That's why most people with adrenal fatigue tend to have these problems, more so than regular people.
So they don't have enough cortisol to help fight the inflammation.
Right.
So one thing they can do is avoid pollen, and pollen does come out at certain amounts, peaks in certain times, so like 7 to 9 a.m. and even the afternoons to 3 to 7 p.m. might be best for you to stay indoors and try not to go outside if you're really sensitive to the pollen from the trees and the flowers in the spring.
Yeah, if you're indoors, have a HEPA filter, in your air conditioning system or your forced vent system, so you basically have to filter out. And of course, that is only in the air, but of course, you cannot get rid of it 100%, so you have to take some personal care to be able to advance to the next level if you have a problem.
Right. So other than like being inside, if you need to go outside, you can wear a mask, you can wear wraparound glasses, or have physical barriers, like you said, personal care, like even putting some balm on your nose so that the pollen doesn't straight up go onto your nose, and you're able to protect it and keep it moist, and have those physical barriers to prevent you from contacting those pollens.
Yeah, there are natural compounds as well, such as bromelain and quercetin, and in the combination, but in the right dose, you have to be doing the right way. It's not just Mickey Mouse dose, we call it. And they have a natural antihistaminic effect if you do it properly, and it works pretty fast.
Yeah, so other things you can do are like nasal rinses.
Nasal rinses is exceptionally beneficial. It's been done in India for thousands of years, and it's simple, it's cheap. You only have some water, saline water, and you squirt out one side of the nostril and comes out the other side. Basically, it cleans up the whole respiratory tract from the upper respiratory tract behind the throat, so you don't have that constant irritation that histamine can cause.
And that's the best way to actually prevent. You're just flushing everything out, right? So there are some natural compounds that you already talked about, quercetin, bromelain, but also vitamin C and even pycnogenol are very good natural antihistaminic action.
Yeah, and then of course avoid food that are high in histamine, but those are very difficult, because histamine is in everything, so to say. It can be activated. If your body is already stressed, your histamine load internally is already high, so it doesn't take much for it to kind of spill over.
So be very careful when you go outside now in the spring, and we have given you these tips to help you deal with the hay fever. And we pray and we hope that you'd have a good day and that we're here to empower you on your health journey.